hold on. Bronze Cliff. Vosh, I found out about you through watching your debate with Tim Pool and decided to go through some of your old content. But after finding out you were racist and want to feminize men, I've begun to lose hope for you. This is exactly why every black person should register as an independent instead of moving left or right, because neither has their best interest. Bronze Cliff, do you want to talk? You sound like you'd be way more fun to have on.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
All right. I wanted to talk to you about something right now.
Hit me up.
So, I found out about you through Tim Pool a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on, I think I'm echoing. Am I echoing?
You're not echoing on my end. I might be echoing on your end. Wait, hold on. No, it sounds good.
Let me mute the stream.
Yes, that'll be a problem. But you're not echoing from my end.
All right, good. So am I good right now?
Yeah, you sound way the fuck clearer than most of the people who come on here.
Okay, that's good. So I found out about you through what's his face, Tim Pool, and I was also a fan of like Candace Owens and Larry Elder and like Thomas Sowell. And I've been like watching some of your videos on them too. So like I kind of got an understanding of how you like feel about black conservatives.
Oh, it's no different than how I feel about conservatives in general.
Yeah, but so I was going through some of your old videos and I came across a clip of you saying something that was like, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Was the clip with that that prospective congresswoman at the RNC? Was it that one?
No, you said that you called a black person a house Negro.
When did I say that?
I have the clip right now. I can play it for you.
Yeah, link it.
I can play it for you in the microphone. I got it pulled up already.
Oh, you can play it, I guess?
About
Central Park 5, there's nothing here mentioned about racism. If anything, he's talking about having a safe city for black and brown and white people. That's a narrative.
This fucking house Negro brought on paper the fucking ad. Are you kidding me?
So that was the clip.
Yeah.
And when I first saw that, I was like,
I wonder if that's out of context, because I feel like that's probably me saying something somebody else would say.
What video is that from? The context for you.
Well, what video is that from?
Conservatives, Progressives, and Vosh debate LGBTQ issues with Vice, Part 1.
Hold on, wait. Conservatives. Wait, so is this from somebody else's video?
No, this is your video on your YouTube channel.
Progressives, Vice, LGBT issues.
It's 4209, and you say House Negro like 4216 or something like that.
Hold on. Vosh, LGBTQ, conservative, progressive. Here we go. Okay, from 1 year ago. Oh yeah, this is really old. July 5th, 2019. This is back when I was in my first apartment. Okay, you said it was 43 minutes in?
No, 42. 4209.
I actually have here the op-ed that Trump put out about Central Park 5. There's nothing here mentioned about racism. If anything, he's talking about having a safe...
I remember this guy. Okay, wait, hold on. This is for chat's sake, because this is old memes, okay? This fucking guy. This guy went to a Vice panel about whether Trump was a racist or something like that, and he knew they were going to bring up the Central Park 5 thing, so he brought a printout of the page that Donald Trump took out calling for the execution of these kids, and he brought out, he was like, it doesn't say anything here, like there was no N-word here. I remember that, dude. This guy was amazing. Yeah, that's super unfortunate language. I do think that there's a particular I do think there's something like particularly bad about like black people or trans people who kind of like sell out and to like racists or trans folks.
How is this selling out though? That's what I don't understand. How is this selling out?
Well, I think that the Republican Party is like objectively a white supremacist organization.
Black people have every right to feel disaffected by Democrats. And Trump has come out with actual plans on how to help the black community. And he's also talked with like Ice Cube about like his plan to help the black community as well. Other people wouldn't even meet for him. Joe Biden. Hold on.
Okay.
And Joe Biden also says something. Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton have also said stuff in the past as racist. Like Joe Biden said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. He also said like poor kids are not as smart as white kids.
Okay,
And
so wait,
then
wait.
Hillary Clinton said,
Okay, hold on. So I know all of that. I'm not exactly a fan of the Democrats, okay? So, again, there's nothing wrong with black people not liking the Democratic Party. In fact, I think that's probably a good thing. I don't like the Democratic Party. I do think that simping for Trump or the Republican Party is objectively like enabling white supremacy. Yeah, 100%.
how?
So hold on, wait, because we're getting besides the point here. The point that I was trying to make before I said that was I still think that's unfortunate language to use. Over the past year, I've gotten a lot less edgy, but I still think that even back then, the language that I used, it didn't belie racism. It just belied an incredibly, what's the term? It's like,
that was that edginess coming out of you.
well, it's a better term than edgy. Irreverent. An irreverent attitude. Flippant. Yeah, flippant or irreverent attitude
it
towards
was a
like.
Freudian slip.
Well, no, because I didn't say it like accidentally or anything.
Nah, I'm joking with you.
Yeah, but anyway, it was like to describe the concept of tokenization. But yeah, I disavow that 100%. I think there are better ways to use the better language to use to describe the problem I have with that guy's behavior.
All right. Well, I feel like okay. The reason I said something about that black people should be independent is because I feel like neither party really has their best interests right now. They should just focus on themselves and like everybody. I feel like instead of focusing like being a party line voter, you should vote based on what policies appeal to you. And if that's the Republican Party, then vote for that party. It doesn't matter if they're racist or not, like because think about it. If they're actually racist, if that is only in their head and doesn't. Like, what policies has Trump passed that are racist? How is he? What policies?
So wait, we're bouncing between a couple of positions here. So if you don't think that it matters if the Republicans are racist, why would you ask me to provide examples of racist policies?
Because I'm saying, okay, listen. If the Republican Party has come out with things or has proposed ideas that could help the black community, why does it matter if there's individual Republicans who are racist?
I'm not saying individual. So the specific debate they were having there was about Trump, whether Trump is a racist.
Are we still talking about this? I thought we was moving on.
Well, I assumed that's what you were referring to because that was sort of the
Oh, you said you disavowed it.
Well, so. Yeah, but with the Republican Party, I'm not talking about individual racists. I'm talking about the general predilection of the Republican Party. But like, if you want to have a conversation about that, it's like a really complicated, and I know how it's going to go. I'm going to say, well, here are some racist things, and you're going to say, well, they didn't say they were being racist at the time, and I'm going to say, well, you have to infer from their actions what their general goals are, and then you're going to say, you can't just call people racist because you're assuming they're racist, and then I'll say, well, no person is going to just say they're racist, you have to infer their behavior from their actions, and then you're going to say,
give me an example. You're saying a lot of like generalities. I need you to be specific. Give me like an example, something I can work with.
For like racism? Do we want to talk about
what you're talking about right now?
Yeah, okay. So we can
start with... I know he's done racist things in the past. I'm saying, what has he done that has limited the like ability for black people to succeed in America?
I would say opposing the BLM movement's a pretty good one, considering it's a historical civil rights movement.
I mean, okay. I get what you mean by that. I get what you mean by that.
Yeah, I mean, that's like pretty off the bat. He hasn't just like condemned rioters. Like he said that BLM supporters are un-American terrorists. Like he's come down on it really hard.
In a sense, he's right though. Cause I mean, like, look at what they're doing. They were destroying black businesses in like low income areas with majority black people. People at the protests. What do you mean?
But there were tens of millions of people who protested for BLM. So when we were talking about
a lot of black businesses got hurt in that process.
Yeah, by an incredibly small minority of rioters, not like a huge. Again, like keep in mind everything you're saying right now also applies to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s civil rights protests. In fact, back then things were proportionally more violent. I would be willing to bet. So any arguments you're making about this now would have also applied back then. If we had had Trump around back in the 1960s, he probably would have been saying, "Oh, they were anti-American too."
Well, that's just speculation, but okay.
But your arguments apply to the civil rights movement as well.
I get what you mean. So are you saying like they were also like violent back then, like smashing stuff?
There were riots during the civil rights movement, 100%. But because we're a couple decades removed, we can point at that and go, okay, there were riots, but the underlying social movement was way more important. I think we're going to see the same thing about BLM.
maybe my school is like kind of like whitewashed it and said like it's more peaceful than they were. Because I've never
Yeah.
heard about civil rights, like the civil rights movement being like, because you think about it, like they look peaceful from all the things I've seen, like the civil rights movement. Look
Yeah, they also don't
overwhelmingly
tell you that
peaceful.
they also don't
That's like
tell
the
you
main
that
thing
MLK
about
was
it.
a socialist. Yeah, they give you this version of MLK where he's like this hyper peaceful, almost Gandhi-like figure, and that way, when there are future civil rights movements, they can denounce those because there's violence involved. In reality, violence is a part of every civil rights movement, you know?
Okay, well, I get what you mean by that. I get what you mean by that. I see what you mean, but I want to go back to them like how we should vote independent instead, because I feel like look at how 90% of black people are voting for, the Democratic Party. Like it's almost as if we've been like completely given our faith to them. You know what I mean?
Well, they're better than the
You were even talking
Republicans.
about this, huh?
Well, they're better than the Republicans. Third parties can't win in America, so you might as well vote for the party, the one of the two possible winning parties, and vote for the one that's best. You know?
I get it. Well, so you think the Democrats are better than the Republicans? Because why?
Yeah, I mean, on almost any issue, like we could run down. We could run down like a lot of things, but yeah, like on almost every issue, I would say they're better. I would struggle to think. I don't even think Republicans are better on guns. Like, I'm pro-gun, but I think that the Republicans treat guns like some sort of like magical dick extension. I think that leads to a lot of problems in this country.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. And the other thing, hold on. What else did I say? I think I said something about like feminizing men and whatnot.
Yeah,
I also said that in the original message.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I don't
if
think
they
we
want
should be.
to.
Yeah, but straight women don't like effeminate men, bro. That's just the reality of it. Like, and encouraging men to be like more feminine is just gonna make them struggle with like women who are straight, because women don't like that.
I generally think, in my experience, that most of the men who struggle to find women are usually insecure guys who are sad they're not more masculine, and they keep trying and they don't succeed, and that like puts people off. I've seen many men just embrace femininity, and I've never seen one like not have much sexual success, you know? I think being confident is like the big thing
opposite, my man. I've seen the exact opposite.
Like what feminine traits am I encouraging that are unattractive to women?
Well, I think like in some of your older ones, like I think it's just like a stream, like you were talking about pegging or something like that, and you were talking about how it's like incredibly fun or something like that.
Well, I've never been pegged, but some people find it really fun.
Well, I just feel like encouraging men to embrace that type of behavior is just like, it's gonna lead to them like kind of like questioning their sexuality.
What's wrong with that?
You shouldn't. You should be confident in your sexuality.
Well, questioning your sexuality doesn't mean you're not confident. It means that you're exploring the possibility that your initial assessment was incorrect. Like, no. If a person is so not straight that getting pegged makes them think they're gay, they were never confident in their sexuality.
I don't know. I feel like there's just certain things that push men towards like coming to like strange conclusions about their sexuality.
I mean, if a guy gets pegged and then realizes he wants like real dick, I mean, that's cool, right? More for me. I don't know. I just don't see how it's an issue.
I just feel like I feel like we should encourage men to do things that are masculine and like instead, because the effeminate nature is the root of their insecurity. They don't want to be effeminate. They'd rather be something else.
But there are men who want to be effeminate men.
Their issues. What? Who?
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I don't have one like on hand right now. I mean, I literally live with a femboy. Like, I have a roommate who's a femboy. I mean, there are men who want to be feminine. I just think people should be like who they want to be. I just don't know why. Like, say for example, a guy is feminine and wants to be feminine, and then they don't have much luck with women or whatever. Like, isn't that their right? Okay. Shouldn't they express themselves?
No. Hold on. It's not because I don't think they should. It's because I think they're making their life more difficult. Because think about it, like let's say if like I had a transgender like kid or something like that, I feel like it would be harder for them. It would like the further you stray away from like what's like socially acceptable, the harder you have made your life. You know what I mean? Because like,
yeah, that's like just an incredibly cucked argument, though. Like, you can make the same argument about slaves, dude. Like, whatever, this is how it is. Just like, that's just such a complacent mindset.
Wait,
You know?
hold on,
Why
hold
not
on.
fight and struggle against the status
Why
quo?
would you wait? No, you can't compare those two things. Those two things are not comparable.
I will confidently compare those things. Yeah. Why should people accept things that make their lives worse when they can fight against them to make their lives better?
Because it's not going to change. That's the thing. People have too much faith that it'll change. It's not going to change.
First of all, they said that about slavery too.
Despite what politician you have, things aren't going to the well-being of the average American or African American isn't going to increase. It's not going to improve. Yes.
Okay, you realize if you were born here 150 years ago, you would have been a slave, right? Like, clearly some things do change.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to see that, becoming a reality right now.
Yeah, but we change all the time. I mean, gay marriage was only legalized nationally only 5 years ago. With transgender people, we've seen a huge surge in support and public acceptance just over the past couple of years. We can absolutely fight for change. I don't know, it just seems like a really cucked mentality, like, don't be a femboy because society will dislike you. Isn't the typical Byronic hero, like the archetype of the Western hero, somebody who knows society rejects them, but who challenges those norms anyway and bends the world to their will? I don't know. I think that being a femboy is the most masculine thing you can be. You're literally fucking the planet.
I guess. So it's just like when I was talking to somebody who was struggling with this specifically, they were saying when I told them it'll be way harder to embrace it and whatnot, and that they should just try and change that, they should become I don't know, go to the gym or something like that, or start getting into more masculine hobbies. They said they appreciated that advice. So I felt like it would work for more people.
Like, what if we went back 70 years ago and you liked a white girl or something, and then somebody was like, dude, that's going to be really rough. You really think you're going to be able to make it with a white girl? You're going to get fucking lynched, dude. Just chill, okay? Just don't. You can't do that. Is that a good way to live your life, you know? I mean, shouldn't we collectively fight against the terrible social standards that we live in? People did used to say that. I mean, people did used to say that about black guys and white girls. I mean, people still say that about black guys and white girls, you know? But I think the world is better when people challenge these systems.
Okay, well, yeah, I understand what you mean.
I'm not saying every guy has to be. I mean, I'm not a super feminine dude or anything. Just I think people should be able to do what they want, you know?
Oh, and the last thing, well, I mean, you're not really into the pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, but that's kind of where I wanted to go.
Yeah, go for it. No, wait, I really like individual achievement and ambition. I fetishize the hell out of it. I just think we should make the system better so that people have a better shot.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's I just feel like that's a long shot. That's all.
But
it just seems I mean, look at how hard they've been fighting against look at how many, we got 70 million people who are against affirmative action, or who think the entire Black Lives Matter movement is just completely anti, we're becoming more hyper polarized, and you can't get anything done in a hyper polarized system. 50 years ago, we were less hyper polarized. Hyper polarization makes things impossible.
Well, I agree with that, but that's because we need to get rid of the Republican Party. That's the main issue there. They're like a festering cancer.
But that's not. Wait, how would you get rid of the Republican Party?
Well, I think the first step would be to get rid of the Electoral College. If we only did presidential elections by popular vote, we would win almost every time.
We've had the Electoral College since the founding of this country. How are you going to get rid of the Electoral College?
Fallacy of tradition. Just because we've had something for a while doesn't mean that it's good.
But you have to think about reality. You have to think about what is most likely. What is the likelihood we get rid of the Electoral College? The chances of that are very, very low.
I mean, we literally have the Interstate Voter Compact, which is a completely legal and non-constitutionally binding way of circumnavigating it. So
also, the thing about slavery, there had always been people against slavery, even going back to the 1600s, people who have always recognized it was morally wrong. But the Electoral College, that's not as transparent. That's not as obvious. There had been people writing literature about abolitionist literature since, what was that one guy who was with Christopher Columbus, who was criticizing all the things he was doing with cutting off people's hands and whatnot.
But there are states,
people had always recognized there was something bad about slavery.
You could say the same thing about women's suffrage. You could say the same thing about all. There are, and the opposition to the Electoral College in this country has been around for over 100 years. I mean, it's been a long-standing thing. Usually from people living in the northern states. Yeah, I mean, so my issue is you seem to be jumping back and forth between what you want and what you think you can do. And I feel like, and I'm not trying to like prescribe anything, I feel like you have a very pessimistic outlook on politics, which isn't necessarily unwarranted because politics is generally very depressing. But I think that, I mean, if you want to change things, you just have to push back against that as hard as you can. Like, there's no, you know, abstemiousness rewards only failure. There's no place to go but forward. I don't think I'm going to like single-handedly abolish the Electoral College or anything, but I think I can participate in making this country better, which I think in large part begins with making the Republican Party politically irrelevant, and then maybe we'll be able to get something done around here.
But where are those 70 million Republicans gonna go? They're not just gonna, you know what I mean?
They can just sit here and watch us make their lives better for them.
I guess. I feel like there's gonna be like some sort of revolt or something like that.
Sure,
but maybe not.
Then
like,
they're the BLM, right? They're the ones.
But I guess
violence.
political violence is necessary because I mean, like with Saudi Arabia, like if we were to give women rights in Saudi Arabia, people would need to die. People would have to go fight wars over there. Like we're not just gonna ask Saudi Arabia to give women rights. You know what I mean? Like I guess in the end, like people must die for a cause.
Well, there are feminist organizations in Saudi Arabia. Maybe one day, if the United States stops supporting their corrupt monarchy, they'll be able to actually take some control and make their country less of a shithole. You know, we're the ones who are keeping their foot down. We internationally legitimize Saudi Arabia.
I see what you mean. Well, all right. Well, I mean,
I know. Listen, wait. I just want to say, wait. You're way the fuck less crazy than fucking 98% of the people I bring on here. Okay, I just want to say I really do appreciate you coming on, especially since you made like a Discord account. And I want to say, by the way, I am happy to talk to you again in the future. And with regards to the clip, where I said the House Negro thing about the earlier guy, I just want to say that I recognize that language is like super fucking bad for like political expediency, and I appreciate you bringing it up because I had forgotten that I had said that, and I think it's a good reminder that we have to be way more careful about the shit that we say.
Yeah, I guess I
just said it again, but it doesn't count that time.
It was nice talking to you, man.
Yeah, likewise. Have a wonderful day or night or wherever the fuck you are.
You too. Take care.
Peace.